Welcome back, everyone. Time for our final run. We are cruising along some more tracks with Yoshi. We're heading onto my favourite tracks from the Extra Cup. This one, kind of hard to pick a favourite because they're all fairly simple and I do like them. But we're going with Donut Plains 1, I think. I could really pick any of them. But this one has a nice mellow feel and I really do need that extra bit of relaxation after the terrible time I had trying to record the Extra Special Cup. Overall, a very smooth track. Now, I've been ragging on the Mario Kart series a lot. And I am more than willing to admit that yes, I prefer F-Zero. I do think, overall, it's a better racing series, but Mario Kart offers a lot more fun. F-Zero requires a fair bit more skill. It's not as easy for beginners to get into, unlike Mario Kart, which is pretty much pick up and play. Hello?
Hello, dear. Were you going to come over for tea tonight?
I hadn't really planned for it.
Right, so you've got stuff out for yourself, have you, for tea?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, you can come over anyway if you like.
Mhm.
Much, but yeah, your choice. Dad says you can come over and give him a hand and we'll pay you to help out.
Righto.
What are you doing?
Just a few odd jobs and things around the place. It needs a bit of a clean.
Alright, okay. Dad's trying to dig holes here. He's found that underneath the bricks out the back there's actually concrete.
Righto.
Big bits of concrete, so there's a couple of holes still to be done. So if you want to come and give him a hand, well, that would be good. Alright?
Righto.
Anyway, leave it up to you, dear.
Okay.
Alright, thank you. Oh, now I know what I was going to say. Remember in the paper a couple of weeks ago I said, something about Kathy and the food. Pardon me. Pardon me, just a minute. You're calling me Addie.
Sort of.
Kathy and the food share.
Yeah, sort of.
I was talking to her this morning, and she was saying what might help give you an idea about what sort of jobs you might like to do is to, and don't jump down the throat thing, but she suggested going to the volunteer information centre that's in the library, and they have a list of all sorts of jobs that are around town. And if you have a look at their books, it might give you some idea of jobs that companies have that could be ones that you could apply for in terms of work-wise.
Righto.
Something that's going to use your skills and so forth. So use that just as an ideas board to say, maybe, I might be interested in, say, looking after animals, or I might be interested in mechanics jobs or something like that. She was saying, there's a lot of ideas there that they would have. So that might be something worth going to have a look at and speak to whoever's in there and getting some job ideas. So there we are.
Righto.
All right, there. So it's not saying go down there and volunteer. It's going saying go and have a look at what might be available. You might find something could be interesting to volunteer, and that might go on to something else. But might just give you some ideas as to what you can consider.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, look, we might see you. You might not. We'll just whatever. If you want to come over after, you're most welcome.
Radio.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Tim.
No worries. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry about the interruption and the awkward cut. Phone call right in the middle of things. Probably should have the mobile switched off when I'm doing this. But given the way things have gone today, one spectacular little interruption like that... Spectacular little doesn't really sound right, does it? Should probably tell you what sort of headspace I'm in after the nightmare of the extra special cup. Anyway. So I think after spending most of last video grumbling about it, I do have to try and talk up the Mario Kart series a little bit more. Now, I do admit there are plenty of positive points. I've cited the multiplayer and that ease of access. Those would probably be its big ones in all fairness. The fact anyone can enjoy it, and the fact you can just get out and play it with your mates without too much trouble. It's certainly entertaining. You can create all sorts of chaotic situations. Go away, Peach! But overall, I do feel that I'm always going to prefer F-Zero. I do think it has more positives, you just have to work a bit harder to unlock them. But really, I've enjoyed my time with this. I enjoyed my time with DS, and for the most part, I did actually enjoy my time with 7. It's funny to note that the handheld ones seem to be the ones I enjoy the most. Largely because I think they come across as more balanced. I think that's the term I'm looking for. Super Mario Kart wasn't fantastic. Mario Kart 64 wasn't very interesting. I do like Double Dash, but I hated the fact you tended to get spammed with items way too easily, and I'd criticise the floaty handling. Otherwise, it is actually a pretty good game. I might rank Double Dash and 7 about equally, with Super Circuit and DS pretty much challenging for first place, Super Circuit just ahead. So, we're up to the... I could do that just to show off how bad everything is, but I'm actually going to this one. So yeah, I do legitimately enjoy this game for all the complaining I've done. I enjoyed DS as well. I love seeing its tracks come back. 7 did have some very good tracks, though I do admit I don't think the gliding mechanic really did anything for it. Driving underwater wasn't too bad, but overall, I think it just worked best when you were straight out racing. And I confess that I don't really like the anti-gravity element in 8. It's fair enough, but I think it is essentially just a gimmick that was basically Nintendo kicking every F-Zero fan in the nuts and saying your series is dead because we're stealing your idea and making it look like something new, basically. And the reason I was hesitating was because I would probably point out there could well be a number of female fans as well as male fans. In fact, it's highly likely, so just saying kicking them in the nuts probably wasn't the wisest thing to do. I tend to overthink these things, you know? But yeah, a kick in the groin is probably the better term. The anti-grav mechanics in 8 were served as a real kick in the groin for fans of F-Zero. And I also didn't like the fact that in 8... Still complaining again, I'm obviously going into grumpy old man mode. I didn't like the fact that in 8, even on 50cc, you tended to get bombarded by blue shells. All those aggravations are noticeably absent, for the most part. 7 was still annoying, from the handheld games. Quite simply, the handheld games do provide a bit of a challenge, but they're nowhere near as unfair about it as the console games tend to be. At least so I find. See, just messing around on Quick Run, I'm having a pretty leisurely cruise and really enjoying it, apart from the random lightning bolts. And that's the thing, how many blue shells have I been hit with? I think there was maybe one blue shell that turned up. And that was in, what, Bowser Castle 3 for the regular tracks? And I managed to outrun that. I managed to have enough speed to outrun it. And on top of that, I made it crash into a wall. The blue shell is dangerous, but it's very rare and you're not plagued by it. I was surprised during some failed recordings to find that you can apparently put blue shells behind you, much like you would a red shell, because I got ambushed by one in Sky Garden. It was a genuine surprise, but not a really, really severe one. It did sort of screw me up, but that was partly because of my poor driving. And Wario gets hit as he crosses the line. So really, I've got nothing, almost nothing but praise for this game as we move on to the last track. The only one I genuinely like, well, Vanilla Lake 2 is good, but Cooper Beach 2 is my favourite. So, for the most part, there's a lot of praise to be had for this game. I still don't like the coin system. I even hate its reappearance in Mario Kart 7 and 8 because, while it's not very significant there, it's extremely poorly implemented. Because you can only get 10 coins in a race, and it takes forever to unlock a whole lot of parts, which are essentially the same thing, just designed slightly differently. It's just frustrating, really. It's poorly implemented and takes up a lot of time. It's at least easier to get them. You can't lose them by just randomly running into the AI. Whoops. But it's still a pain trying to unlock everything. And it doesn't really trouble the AI. That was the sound of a blue shell, but it doesn't matter. And there it went. And I wound up in the water. So. And I got drowned again. Nice. So really, in all honesty, I think that the style of Super Circuit and DS is much more enjoyable. They're still a test. You have to pull off some pretty good maneuvers, but there are some interesting and creative tracks, and you don't have to worry about massive item spam. Just to wrap things up, we're going to go for a horrible time on Rainbow Road and see how much I fall off. Okay, so minor cut there. I decided to try and stuff around on Rainbow Road. Things did not go particularly well. It was mostly just me complaining, so I decided to cut it out. But I do want a suitable finish to this adventure, so I'm choosing a Rainbow Road I genuinely enjoy. Let's take one last run around Rainbow Road. For old time's sake, the SNES one can go die in a fire. Not bad. Triple red shells in second place. So, I'll admit, I'm not very good at Mario Kart, and the entire point of this was to actually play a game where I wasn't very good. I originally tried to record this in just one session, which didn't go very well because my gradually decreasing sanity really didn't make for fun commentary. However, even with all that, trying to do it in small installments didn't really get me very much, I don't think. I'm still really, really bad at this. That was... See what I mean? And I'm also really stupid. So we'll have to try and catch Bowser because I don't know if my shells are going to go off the track. Bowser's taken the shortcut over there, which I'm not game enough to do. Whoops. Oh, and I got electrocuted. So in all fairness, I've actually tried to provide some compliments for this game, and I'm getting stitched up. It's been kind of a running gag throughout this adventure, in all fairness. So, I still like it though. I still think this is a genuinely enjoyable game. And I know I'm not that great at Mario Kart. I really did want to do something where I wasn't that good, just to test myself out. I admit I've probably complained a bit much about elements of this game. And indeed the entire series. But I'm being honest when I say that for everything I find irritating, how did that not get me? Everything I do find irritating, there's so much more I love about Mario Kart Super Circuit in particular. I just feel it's a legitimately fun game. It doesn't have the attendant frustrations that the console games do. It was a really, really good template for where the series could go. They stepped up with this one so much, and it shows. It's so much more polished, so much more interesting. The tracks, while they were nicely designed in Mario Kart 64, they also didn't really get that much of a reaction out of me. Maybe it's the early Nintendo 64 stuff. I mean, they look nice enough, but I just feel there's a bit more art in this. More character, a bit more pizzazz. The music is beautiful in this. I hardly remember anything about the tracks of Mario Kart 64, with the exception of Rainbow Road. But I just feel that this one really took the series in the right direction. Yes, there are some elements that are incredibly frustrating throughout the series. They fixed up the handling, but you still have to deal with the AI dropping items on your head every time a human player gets in first for a picosecond. You don't have that in Mario Kart Super Circuit. Apart from a few SNES tracks which are horrible, you have an incredibly fun experience, and I can't stress that enough. Please check this one out. For all my grumbling, for all I say I dislike the Mario Kart series, for all I say F-Zero is better, and I'm very biased in that sense, the fact that I can say Mario Kart Super Circuit is an amazing game and one of my favourite racing games ever, for me to give a racing game that much praise is pretty impressive. For me to give a Mario Kart game praise, even more spectacular. Check it out. you will enjoy it. That wraps things up. I've rambled on long enough. Until next time, stay safe, be good to one another, and I'll catch you on my next project.